No, no one yet. We'll just wait. I think I went on a couple of minutes early today just because I was a bit worried about what happened yesterday. Oh, God, my hair. I sorted my hair out as well. I thought I looked a little bit, my hair looked a bit mad yesterday. So I tried to calm it down a little bit today. There we go. Morning, Ruth. Morning, Joe. Morning, Deb. Yeah, my hair. I've always had really poker straight hair. And since perimenopausal has kicked in, I've developed frizzy hair, which is really odd. Um, I'm not I'm quite glad because everyone who's got straight hair wants curly hair, and anyone who's got curly hair wants straight hair. So I'm quite glad, but I realised yesterday it looked a bit bonkers and a bit mad. So I've made a bit of effort today. Yes, this is as much effort as I make, by the way. Good morning, everyone. How was yesterday? What did we think? Was that a nice introduction? Was it a gentle entry in? And how was the homework? Yeah, did we do it? Did we enjoy it? Did anything come up? Let me know. I'm going to maybe try and do a little bit of multitasking today, but can't promise much. What I'm asking you to do is to celebrate yesterday. So even if you just celebrate the fact that you did it. As human beings, we've got a knack of only focusing on the negative stuff and never focusing on the positive. So acknowledging these little celebrations, these little wins, is quite a nice habit to get into. You know when you have a review at work and 99% of them are positive and you get that 1%. It's that 1% that you focus on. You don't focus on that 99% positivity. So we need to start to rethink that habit and start focusing on those little wins. So if you manage to do it and you've got some little insights, just give yourself a little pat on the back and just acknowledge it, recognize it, and say, yeah, well done. Okay? Is that a deal? Okay, it's quite a big one today. I might get a little bit overexcited about this one, so bear with me, and I'll try not to forget anything, and I'll just crack on because, like I say, it's quite a lot to get through. So today we're going to talk about food. Love it or hate it, we have to have it. Okay. So I'll start off by saying that when you think of health, you think of diet. Ugh. Ugh, I hate that word. I hate it. I can't tell you how much that word brings up so many emotions inside of me. I've never really, well, I've never been a yo-yo dieter. I've never really tried the latest fad and things like that. But just the word diet evokes so many like negative thoughts in my mind. And I think if we all thought about it, it would probably do the same for us because it makes us think. For me, with what I know now, I just see it as a whole industry, a £1 billion industry that's basically being built on our insecurities, which isn't good. And I also know that all diet instills there's some form of restriction or deprivation attached to it. And I don't want to live in a world with restriction or deprivation. I don't know about you, but I want to live my life and I want to have fun and I want to enjoy it. So I don't want restriction or deprivation. And diet does that, low carb, so you can't have carbs, paleo, so you can't have treats. I don't know, intermittent fasting because you can't go do without food. Now, I'm not saying none of those things are good. Of course they are. I like a little bit of intermittent fasting. I like the cleanse that it does to my body, but it's not something long term. You cannot live by a diet long term. At some point, a diet will come to an end, and then what do? Do you just go back to how you used to eat? And then you start this cycle of up and down and up and down again. I think a diet is really useful as a starting block. You know, like motivation and willpower, they're all good things to start you off in the right direction, but they are not something that's gonna see you through the longevity. And what a diet does is you do it for a certain length of time, and then when you finish, you then feel guilty. And you put a judgment on yourself because then you're eating something that the diet tells you couldn't have eaten. And it just perpetuates this whole restriction, deprivation, you can't have, guilty. Oh, this whole thing is going on inside our brains that we don't even recognize when we put on a diet, give ourselves a diet. So that's what I think. So never mind diets, we put a lot of judgment on food. Good food, bad food. I can't eat that, I'm on a diet. I've been naughty today. I've cheated. Yeah? All those things. I failed today. I ate a donut. We attach judgment on ourselves. I failed because I ate a donut. No, you didn't. You just ate a donut. Yeah? Okay? And we eat with our emotions. So how often do we actually eat when we're hungry? You know, when our stomach is rumbling, when our body's telling us we're actually hungry. Or when do we eat something because we're fed up, because we've had a bad day, because we're feeling a bit lonely, bored, or because we've had a good day and we deserve a treat, or because it's a Monday, because it's a Tuesday, because it's a Friday. When we attach food to emotions, good and bad, and we've forgotten that food is when we're hungry. So let's have a. I've lost my place already, and we've only just started. But basically, from a place of judgment with food, we're never going to win. You're never going to win with anything in life from a place of judgment. But we can all relate to food because we all have to eat it. We all have to eat, so we can relate to a judgment attached to food. Not all of us can relate to a judgment to our jobs, things like that. But with food, we can all relate to it. Okay. And I would also say that like I said yesterday, we've outsourced our diet to other people. We've outsourced them to diet gurus, to diet books, to, whatever Holly and Phil are saying on this morning. We've outsourced it to other people. We believe what other people tell us is good for us to eat. We don't trust ourselves anymore. We trust what other people tell us to eat. And I don't necessarily think that's good either. And what that does, because we've outsourced it, and because we attach judgment, and because we eat for emotions, we all do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do any of that. We all do it. But because we've got all this coming at us all the time. Oh, I need to eat this. Oh, I shouldn't eat that. Oh, I've eaten it. I've been naughty. Oh, I should do this. Oh, the Adele diet. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? Overwhelm. Let's just stay put. I won't even bother trying. Let me know if any of that rings true to you. I know it rings true to me. We're humans. Let me know. I'm multitasking. Just say yes. Anyone? Are you there? Nobody's commenting. I feel really lonely now. No? Okay. I'll just carry on then. Nobody's commenting. I feel really lonely. Is anyone there? Debs? Joe? Just let me know if you're there. There's no point me going on if I'm talking to myself. I am live. It says I'm live. Let me get my phone, 1 second. Yep, it says I'm live. Not sure what to do now. Do I carry on? I'm just going to see if I can see myself on my phone. Yep, I'm there. I can see myself. Oh, there's a delay. Lisa's just said there's a delay. Right, okay, great. Let me know. Oh my word, me and technology. This is why I do face-to-face work. Okay, so I believe there's a delay. So at some point I'm going to get 100 messages telling me, yes, you can relate to some of that, or that you can't relate to it and it doesn't make any sense to you. Let me know. So what I want you to do, if you're in this place of overwhelm and you don't know what you need to do to help move you forward in terms of what you eat and things like this. So you're in this place of overwhelm and you try this and you try that and this doesn't work, and then you just think, oh, I'm back to square one. I am going back. I'll just stick with what I know because I'm happy there, and you know, this is just the way it is. Okay, if you relate to that, let's just stop. Okay, let's just take a nice deep breath in. Let's just calm ourselves. Okay, like I said, health is simple. Let's make it simple. What is food? What is food? Food is fuel. We need food. Yeah, we need food to live. So food is fuel. And fuel produces energy. So food is energy. That's all it is. And the food we eat either gives us energy or zaps us of energy. That's it. That's it. But that doesn't mean, when I talk about food gives you energy and food takes away your energy, I'm not talking about boring, tasteless, limp food. Do I look like someone who would enjoy that sort of food? No, it's not about that. If you think of your car, and if you think that if you're going to put cheap oil and petrol into your car, and then you're driving along and it's chug, 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 you know, oh, it's because I put that cheap rubbish in it. Oh, let's put in some decent stuff. Yeah, you get that. But when we put cheap rubbish food into our system, and then we're like, oh, knackered, oh, I'm bloated, oh, I've got no energy, oh, let's just veg in front of the telly. We don't link that. We don't think that. We might do on some level, but we don't really think about that. Okay. So, what's the easiest, as I said, easy and simple, what's the easiest and simplest way to give us energy or give us more energy with our food? So I'm going to talk about 4 things, okay? 4 things. 2 are really easy and 2 are relatively easy. That's okay. I'm not going to talk proteins, I'm not going to talk carbohydrates, I'm not going to talk fats, I'm not going to talk any of those things. If you want to know about them, Google it. And every diet mixes those 3 things in anyway, and with fibre and things, to a lesser or greater degree. It mixes about with timings, it mixes about, but every diet, that's all it does is mix those 3 components together. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk first about water. So don't change anything else about your diet and what you put into your system if you change nothing else, you carry on exactly as you are, happy as Larry, enjoying the food that you eat, drink more water. That's it. Most of us are dehydrated anyway. We've got central heating, we spend a lot of time indoors, we're in offices, we're in artificial air conditioned places and things like that. Most of us are dehydrated, so all of us should drink more water anyway. But one of the massive things about water is it detoxifies us, it cleans us out of all the rubbish that's in our system, or it certainly helps flush it out. So if you have eaten a massive pizza, yeah, if you've overloaded on loads of, if your diet is really proper, that really bad diet, if you drink a load of water, that's the best thing you can do for it. So if you think about an oil spill, say there's an oil spill halfway down a mountain, right, and it's there and it's claggy and it's just sitting there, yeah, if there's a massive downpour of rain, floods and everything, it will flush that oil spill away. But if there's a drought, that oil spill will just sit there and it will kill everything around it, and it will just suck everything out of the environment that's around it. So if you eat that pizza's the oil spill. Okay? So give it the water and help flush it away. Help flush the toxins away. So like I said yesterday, build it up. Drink 1 pint of water a day, build it up to 2 pints, build it up to 3 pints. Yeah? The more you do it, the more your body will want it. Water, easy peasy. Second one. Your comments are still not coming through. I feel very lonely here. Second one. This is a nutrient that is often ignored when we talk about food and diet and health. Okay? It's a vital nutrient and we all need it. Just like we all need food and we all need water to survive, we all need this nutrient to survive. Oxygen. And when we're eating, our body doesn't get enough oxygen. Who on here inhales their food? And when you inhale your food and you're on the go and you're rushing and right here, there and everywhere, oh, I've got no time for my lunch, oh, I've got no time, I just shove it down, 5 minutes flat. When you're doing that, the vital ingredient that's being missed within that meal is oxygen. And what oxygen does, it helps break everything down faster and send it to the right parts of the body that needs it. Yeah. So I keep using analogies, but if you think of a campfire, and the campfire is dying down and it's nearly dead, and you're all starting to feel a little bit cold and you want perking up a bit, what do you do to a campfire? Well, how do you stoke it? You waft it with oxygen, yeah, and it goes woof, and up again, up it goes again. Yeah, so you keep that fire stoked. Keep that fire stoked. And if that fire is stoked, it is constantly burning the nutrients and all the nutrient dense food that you're eating, or even if it's not nutrient dense, it's breaking it down and it's helping work for you to give you more energy. Does that make sense? So those, I can't tell if it makes sense because I'm not getting any comments through. How do I do this? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, there you are. See? I can see you now. It's freezing again on me. Right, I'm not going to play about with it because I don't want my screen to go black like it did yesterday. But I believe you're all here now. Morning, Wendy. Morning, Caroline. Morning, Jessica. Morning, Elle. Hi. Hi, everyone. Right, okay. So 2 easy things that you can do to increase the energy within your system, to start giving yourself more energy. And that's not changing anything to do with what you're eating. It's got nothing to do with that. So one is water, help flush those toxins away if you're not eating particularly healthy at the moment. And 2, it's oxygen. It is undervalued, underrated, not fully recognized, and we need it. You know, obviously we breathe in every day and we all know we need oxygen, but start eating your food a bit slower. Yeah, so instead of inhaling that food, start chewing it. And when you start chewing your food, you will naturally start taking in more oxygen. You should be taking 20 minutes for every meal. So if you're taking 5 minutes, try and increase it to 10. If you're taking 10 minutes, try and increase it to 15. Or you can do what I've done, because I've really struggled with this. It doesn't come naturally to me. I'm a fast eater, always have been. Grew up in a family where you had to eat your food fast, or it was tea, or it was just grab somebody else at it. So what I've done is chosen my one meal a day that I've got time. So at the moment, I'm doing it 2 meals a day. I can do it at breakfast and I can do it at lunch. Can't do it at tea because you know you're cooking and you're shoving the food down for the family and you're just wolfing your food down. I can't do it at tea. That's not a good time for me. Normally, when life's busy and we're all out and about, I do it at breakfast. I wake up half an hour earlier and I take my time, and I love my breakfast. And I put my spoon down between mouthfuls and my knife and fork if I'm having a hot breakfast. And what it does, as you take a mouthful in, you're taking a mouthful of oxygen, and as you're chewing, you're breathing, and you're chewing. So instead of chewing once, twice, gobble it down, chew your food. You should be taking 20 to 30 chews between mouthfuls. Still a work in progress for me. But if this seems like something that's easy for you to implement, then do it. I really struggle with this one, but it is a really easy thing that you can implement without it changing anything to do with your diet. And those 2 things will increase your energy because you're helping your body to break down, assimilate, and process that food to help. So your minions can help you to help yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 3. I'm going to ask you to think about counting chemicals, not calories. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by that. The more ingredients and the more chemicals in our food, the harder it is for our bodies to break down, assimilate, and use for our benefit. I think that probably everyone can agree that that's probably correct. So if there's something that your body doesn't, so your body recognizes potatoes, doesn't recognize crisps, because crisps has gone through a process to become a crisp from a potato. Yeah, a potato is a whole food. It comes from the ground, and a crisp has gone through a process to become a crisp. Does that make sense? Now, that's not saying you should never eat crisps. I love crisps. But look at the ingredients of that packet of crisps. And if there's ingredients within that packet of crisps, that you can't say or you can't spell, then I would encourage you to avoid it. Choose something like kettle crisps. I like lentil crisps. They're out there quite a lot now. And on the back of crisps like that, you'll find ingredients like potatoes, sea salt, and oil. Obviously, it's been fried and gone through the cooking process and the changes in the chemical makeup of it to become a crisp. But the only ingredients in that are potatoes, sea salt, and oil. Choose that instead. Okay? So my only advice with counting chemicals instead of calories, calories, your body breaks down. That's the measurement we use for energy. Yeah, calories, that's what it means. And you know, fat has got a lot of calories. I eat a load of fat. For me, with MS, fat insulates and protects our vital organs, our nerves and things like that. With MS, your nerves are eroded of the myelin sheath. So in my head, the fat helps to protect it, or it does help protect it. And so my body reacts really well with a high level of fat. I'm not saying it will for you, but calories is out the window for me. It means nothing. You know, I eat a lot of fat and I've lost 3 stone. So it doesn't necessarily work, and actually your body really needs good fats. So choose chemicals over calories. If you can't say it and you can't spell it, it shouldn't go in your body. Okay? That's my advice. Okay, the last one. Are we okay? Are we staying? Does any of this, does it make sense? I'm really sorry, I can't see. I'm going to have to wait until we come off, and then I'll answer all your questions. And if anyone's got any concerns, or I'm going too fast or anything like that, please just message me. Please just message me, and I'll go over it again, and we'll take time. Okay. Let me just cover the 4th one, because I know I'm giving you a lot of information, I suppose, and I said I wouldn't give you information, but I hope that it's in with a slightly different outlook to what we're used to being told. Yeah, because health is simple. It really, really is. So the last one, phase in to phase out. Okay, I'm going to need my notes for this one. So I want you to think about, carry on eating exactly what you're eating, because you enjoy it and that's your life, and that's fine. But I want you to start thinking about introducing more whole foods into whatever you're eating at the moment. So if you've got, let's just say you've got a 50-50. So you've got a 50% whole food diet and a 50% processed diet. I'm not asking you to write everything down and go, oh yeah, so 50% of the day of the week I eat blah 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 blah, and 50% I eat blah blah blah. I'm not just in your head mentally make a note of how many times do you think you eat whole which hands am I using? Whole food. This will be my whole food hand, and this will be my processed hand. Okay, so 50% whole food, 50% processed. So think about introducing another 10% of whole food. So then we're looking at 60-40. Okay, and then see how that goes on. See if that was easy, and if that was perfectly achievable, and thinking, oh, why didn't I do that earlier? Then 70-30. Okay, so just start introducing more whole foods. And when I mean whole foods, you know what I mean. I mean, fruit, vegetables, meat if you're a meat eater, nuts, seeds. We all know what they are. Processed is anything that's gone through a process to become what it is. So pasta has gone through a process to become what it is. Yeah. And there's different levels of quality pasta, like there's different levels of quality crisps. Yeah. So maybe even if instead of looking at changing the 50-50 to a 60-40, maybe looking about increasing the quality of the processed products that you're buying. Yes, just so there's less ingredients. And by doing that, you are changing the balance to a more 60-40 automatically, because you're taking in less chemicals, and the chemicals is what is needed to make that process happen. Okay, so if we're gonna, so let's just say we've introduced more whole foods. It's whole food, isn't it? 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. Yeah. And if you really want to, do a 90-10. But for me, 80% is the new 100%. because like I said, life's for living, life's for enjoying. I probably eat about an 80-20, 85-15, if you're going to get a bit finicky about it. I would say that's where my diet is, and I'm really happy with that. My energy level, what you'll do, when you're tipping the scales and you're introducing more of the good stuff, and when you're introducing more of the good stuff, I don't want you to stop eating the bad stuff, but what you'll find is that when you start introducing more of the whole foods, your body will naturally not want the other stuff, because they don't have, your minions don't have to work as hard to process it. So you're making their job easier to process and assimilate and help that food move around your body to be benefit to you. So because your minions are now not having to work as hard, they're happier. I always use the minions, sorry. These poor little minions. So you will naturally find that you don't crave that food as much. Because you'll start feeling better. So your minions have now got more energy. They're running around looking after you in a much happier, easier, there's not as much congestion going on inside. And then that helps you feel better. And when you feel better and you've got more energy, you don't want the stuff that gives you less energy, because that makes you feel bloated and lethargic and like you need to have a little sleep and undo your buttons. Yeah, your body will tell you. The minions, I don't think I've explained this, the minions are my cells. So you've got trillions of cells inside your body, and to me, they're running around and they're trying to look after you, and they're doing everything to keep you happy. And the minute that, and as a responsible employer, I want to support my minions to do the best job they can and support them and make sure everything's correct. So every time I eat something, I think about my little minions. Oh dear. Anyway, that's just the way my mind works. And the minion thing, what it does, there's a method to my madness. It helps me connect my body to my mind. So in my mind, I've got these little minions running around, but it connects me to my body and helps me realize that what I put into my body affects the way I feel. Okay? But like I said, I'm not talking about 100%. You know, I don't want you to do 100% anything, because at some point, if you're doing 100% of something, at some point you're going to want to deviate from that. And then you're going to say, well, I've been naughty, or you're going to attach judgment to it. And I don't want that. So let's just say 80% is the new 100% and stick to like an 80-20 rule. Or, you know, or a 90-100, whatever, a 90-10, if that's what suits you. You've got to find what it is that the balance is right for you. So if you're on a 50-50 and you're not feeling great, and you change it to a 60-40 and you start feeling brilliant, well, that's all you needed to do, that little tiny tweak. Maybe you might find that it's a 70-30 that might work for you, and that's absolutely fine. It also relevant of the time, you know, your age. So when you were in your 20s, my son, he's 16, he eats me out of house and home, and he'll eat anything, and he's still got the same amount of energy. But as you get older, your body's having to work harder anyway, just because you're getting older. So as you get older, you find that has to change. 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. You'll find that it has to change naturally. So the more you introduce these habits, the younger you are, the easier it is to make that transition as you get older. Okay, so I'm asking you to phase in, and then you will naturally phase out. And then what you'll find, apart from feeling better and energetic and all the rest of it, is that ironically, the weight will just fall off anyway. if weight loss is something that's important to you, you'll just find that the weight falls off anyway. Bizarrely. Give it a go. So does any of that make any sense? Yeah? For me, energy is the currency of choice. I told you that before. So I choose energy over anything and everything else. But if, like, I know that there's I don't know, that my family want to have a takeaway, and I don't want to not be part of that, then I build in how I'm going to feel the next day. I build into that into the equation. So with alcohol, if you're going to go out with your mates on a Friday night, do you remember that? Do you remember when you used to be able to do that? Go out with your mates on a Friday night. In your head, you've written off Saturday with a hangover, haven't you? We all do it. And Saturday's written off because we're hungover. We'll do the same with food. So now if I have a takeaway evening with my family, I write off Saturday as a food hangover, because I know I've just put as much toxins into my system as alcohol, and I feel as rubbish so I acknowledge I'm going to feel rubbish the next day. But generally I choose energy. Okay, so just build in those days when you're gonna, or you can't eat healthily because you're here, there, and everywhere. Remember those days. Build in those days and make sure they're not regular days. That they're one-offs. That's what because I choose energy over and above anything. That is my currency of choice, because I've lived without it and I've lived with it, and I know which one I choose. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, probably. There might have been a few little things in there that you didn't know. But like I said, a coach is the difference between knowing it and doing it. So hopefully there's been a lot of little light bulb moments that you've thought, all right, I'm going to do that. Oh, and even if, I'm babbling, sorry. These things just keep coming to me. But even if you're going to have a takeaway on Friday night, and maybe a couple of beers as well, and you're going to have that food hangover on Saturday morning, remember, if you drink that water the night before, flush it all out your system, everyone's a winner. Right, should we try this again? It's not going to work, is it? Oh, hang on, yeah, it's moving. Bore da, Marianne. My old school friend. No, keeps freezing on me. Oh well. Okay, so we've talked water, we've talked oxygen being the secret nutrient that nobody talks about. We've talked about counting chemicals, not calories. And we've talked about phasing in food to phase out food, as opposed to depriving yourself or restricting yourself of anything. For me, that's the most liberating thing I've ever heard. Yeah. I eat everything I want and nothing I don't want. I eat everything I want and nothing I don't want. Now, people I've worked with have heard me say this, and I say it to my clients, every client I work with, and when I say it to them, they all nod. They all go, oh, yeah, I get that. And at the end of the 12-week transformational program that I do with them, they always go, when you said that to me, I sort of got it, but I didn't really understand what you meant. Now I totally get it. And it just means that if I want that piece of cake, I'm going to eat that piece of cake, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to savor every mouthful of it, and I'm not going to feel guilty, and I'm not going to attach any judgment to me at all. I'm going to enjoy it. But if somebody says, do you want a piece of cake, and I don't want it, no thanks, not today. That is so liberating. But this hasn't happened overnight. These are little steps that I've done along the way to get to this point. Okay, it doesn't take long, but you have to start small. So just start with the water, and very quickly you'll decide to take on something else. Okay? Homework. I don't like saying homework, I feel like a teacher. But what I'm going to say is that you are the best, the cheapest, and the most efficient and effective science experiment for your body there ever will be. Every doctor will tell you that, because in the science world, their science experiments are based on lots of different people and a percentage ratio of what potentially could work and not work. Yeah. But nobody knows you and your body better than you. So let's start experimenting with it. Okay? Try things and notice how you feel. Do you feel good? Do you feel refreshed? Do you feel sated and full? And does that last a long time? Or do you feel bloated? Do you need to undo your pants? Do you need to have a little snooze on the settee after you've eaten? Just start noticing, okay? Experiment with different foods and start noticing how they feel, how you feel after eating them. That's all. All I'm doing is helping you to build awareness of what your body wants, is asking for. Okay? Because if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't know, how are you going to change? But when you do know, you can start making different decisions. Okay? So just all I want you to do is just start noticing. So today, what time are we on? Oh God, I better finish soon, sorry. Just start noticing. So at lunch today, whatever you're going to eat it, enjoy it, try and eat it a little bit slower, and then just notice. Straight after you've eaten, how do you feel? Do you feel like you've got a bit of energy and you want to do your tasks for the afternoon? Or do you feel like, and then notice 2 or 3 hours after, which would be the afternoon slump time. Do you have that afternoon slump? I no longer have the afternoon slump. The afternoon slump was always my downfall. Just notice it. Notice if you have that afternoon slump. Notice and then when you go and get some food, notice, are you hungry? Or are you wanting that because you're sad, or you've had a bad day, or you've had a good day? And then if you decide, no, I still want to eat it, even though I'm sad and fed up, then eat it and flip and enjoy it. And don't attach any judgment to yourself, because you have made that choice to eat that food. Okay? So just start building up that awareness. Now there might be some questions around this, and it might sort of overwhelm a few of you. So please, like I keep saying, interact with me, interact with each other. Just start this conversation going, okay? And then we'll see what comes up for you. Okay. Right, I have a fact sheet for this for today. It's on a slightly different subject. It's how to balance your blood sugar. Okay, now balancing your blood sugar, if anyone's got any issues around blood sugar or pre-diabetes, things like that, it's the gentlest intervention that any of us can do to our body, and also the most effective. So most blood sugar, it does this thing up and down, and if we can get it to balance, if we can get our blood sugar to balance, then a lot of the issues that people might have within their bodies and energy, and little niggles and aches and pains and digestive issues and headaches and things like that, they will go if we can balance our blood sugar. So I've put together a little fact sheet. It is only short and to the point really, but it's quite bullet point and quite, I think there's a lot of information in a short space. So if anybody wants that fact sheet, if you find it useful, then just let me know. Drop me your email address in the comments or send me a message with your email address and I will pop it over to you. Okie dokie. How was that? Again, I don't know how I can do this. Oh, 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 oh. It's just so slow. Oh, my sister-in-law's commented quite a lot and she texts me, I hope you don't mind, Deborah, but I'm going to tell a little story. She texted me this morning. She says, I dreamt about you last night. She says, I won't tell you about the whole dream, but part of it involved me eating a big jar of cream, which is very odd. But part of it was that she said she was facing, we were walking in a market, busy marketplace. Do you remember them? And she was facing redundancy. She's a teacher and she was facing redundancy. And she said to me, she said in the dream, she said, I can't control what happens with the redundancy. All I can control is my reaction to it. And she went, flipping heck, Andrea, you're coaching me in my dreams now. Papa made me laugh. Anyway, she's commenting to say it's all okay online. Right, I'm a bit giddy now. A bit giddy. Hope everyone's going to have a lovely day. Enjoy your lunch. Notice, yeah? And think about this over the next week or so. Baby steps, remember, nothing too dramatic, just little baby steps. Okay, and let me know if you want that fact sheet about balancing your blood sugar. Any insights, any like little eureka moments that came to you then that you thought, oh my God, that's so obvious? And any questions, let me know. And tomorrow, self-care. I think we all need a bit of that at the moment with our life being all topsy-turvy and all over the place. So we're going to talk about self-care. Take care, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.